Okay, Martin, it's loading. We are almost getting started.
Good.
All right. Okay, let me just drop the hints. Okay. Okay, so today welcome to Crypto Grinders Show. My name is JJ Andy. I'm the co-founder of Crypto Grinders. All right, and today we are honored to have Martin, the co-founder of Debitum Network. Hey, Martin.
Hello.
Hey, so Martin. So tell us more about yourself. Where are you right now? And all about you. Cool. Okay.
I'm right now in Lithuania, so it's in Europe.
Right.
It's on Saturday night, but a bit earlier than you have it right now.
Right. So how long have you been working on Debitum project?
On Debitum, we are working around a year, a bit less than a year.
Okay.
We started like early this year.
Right. So do you start it alone or do you start it with a team?
No, we started with we are 3 co-founders.
Right.
And we are basing that on 2 existing businesses, so we have already some team up and running.
Right. I saw that 2 particular companies, which is in Europe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. All right, so for those who have not really explored about Debitum Network, basically Debitum Network. Wait. Why not Martin? You explain it. Explain what does Debitum Network does?
Okay. What we do is that it's a business lending or business borrowing ecosystem.
Right.
So it basically brings together businesses. It allows businesses to access capital. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it allows investors to deploy capital. Mm-hmm. And to make that trustworthy and transparent, it uses the centralized network of service providers needed for those financial operations.
Right. So what kind of business are we referring to? Are we referring to small medium enterprises or which?
Yes.
Exactly? Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are referring to smaller companies, like small medium companies, who are basically unbanked in a traditional banking sphere. So they are like either young or smaller, but basically in reality it's like small medium enterprise. It also can be like up to 200 people employees. Wow. And they still might be like too young. For example, they like started operations last year and they would still have trouble getting like access to finance.
Right. So tell me a little bit about how your previous company comes into play for Debitum Network. How does it synchronizes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Actually, our whole story is like very natural.
Right.
Like so 5-6 years ago, we established our IT company, mm-hmm. and it was a small company, and we were refused the financing in bank. So we really felt the problem firsthand. And then we moved on and established a loan company. And we are established a loan company in Lithuania, providing loans to small companies and solving that problem like locally.
Right.
And then a year and a half ago, we thought of how to do it on a global scale, how to solve that problem on a global scale. Mm-hmm. And one step led to another. And we basically understood that the best way to do it is to have a decentralized network of smaller players serving that market. So that's basically how we come from current companies to Debitum Network.
Right. So Martin, talking about global, which market are we really targeting at for Debitum? Which market first? And
we have developed like stages how it makes sense to expand globally. So the first stage is like our home market. Basically, it's Europe mm-hmm. and some countries around it.
Right.
And then the next stage that would be like later on would be to set up regional countries, basically mm-hmm. all around the world. Certain countries, like for example, Brazil or Singapore, South Korea, something like that, like all around the place. And then the third stage would be to go from those regional countries to expand in those regions.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So kind of that's the way how we approach. But the first stage would be home market.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to hit the home hard, and then after that you start expanding from there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, you can't go and conquer the world like in the first day. Right? You need to do it step by step.
Well, that makes sense. Okay, so we understand there's a pre-sale ICO, right? And you mentioned there were actually two different ICO setups. So what was the reason behind it? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a bit different setup, but
Right.
we were discussing with community a lot, going around the world in different events and conferences, discussing with other people,
Okay.
like from crypto and also from fintech. So
Right.
basically, what we did, we made this change to we made a smaller. We made first price step. We would sell it out like this year,
Mm-hmm.
and all other tokens we would sell out next year, like January 25.
Right.
And
Right.
the idea for that would be that meanwhile we will make it sure that we also allow fiat contributions for the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of basically was one of the biggest issues we had, because we are a business to business platform,
Right.
and it seems that because of that, many supporters are not so familiar with crypto and really willing to support and contribute in fiat.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we moved it and split it up. But at the same time, we wanted to give local and current community possibility to get in, possibility to get the best price at the same time, and also to make sure that we have enough support to actually move on with the project.
Right, right. So being curious here, if let's say I have a business in Lithuania, all right? So let's say I sell t-shirts, right? And I want to borrow from Debitum Network, right? I mean, why not, right? Crowdfunding, peer-to-peer, sounds interesting. So what do I have to do? Like, the procedure as a borrower. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what you have to do, you have to register on the network, you have to undergo KYC. Because business to business, yeah, you have to know who is there.
Yep.
You have to submit particular information around what you are willing to borrow, what are you willing to give any collateral, say an asset receivable, an existing fixed asset or whatnot.
Right.
And then basically you have all the options. One option, and then you set an interest rate for which are you ready to borrow. So then you have two further options. You have one option, not do anything and just hope that investors will like it and provide you a loan.
Right.
And another option is that you actually use service providers on the network to make it more easy for investors to pick your loan. Basically what you do, you can pay for risk assessment or for members on the system. So they give you a risk score. And of course, it's easier for investors to choose to invest in a particular loan if they see what's the risk return. Also, it's possible to verify. It's possible to insure your loan against default. So it's easier for investors to pick it. At the same time, you can do nothing of that, and investors can do the same things if they feel they need to do it. So it's kind of very liberal, kind of in a way, ecosystem that allows different options. It doesn't mean that you definitely have to do all the steps, right? You can choose based on your trust, basically, based on your maybe loan amount, etc.
Right. So if let's say I'm a borrower now, how do I pay my interest? Do I pay in cryptocurrency? Do I pay in fiat? Or what's better?
Yeah, it's very important thing actually. We are a hybrid solution.
Right.
So what it means is that we see that in 2018, business is not really able to borrow or pay back in crypto.
Right.
There are many for that. Volatility is one. Accounting actually is another one. It's not really clear how to account, like what to do. Like, is it really money or is it like asset or what is it?
Yeah.
So all the loan transactions will happen in fiat. For that, there is a special member on the ecosystem. It's called fiat facilitator. So all the loans will be in fiat. So it means that you as a company, you will actually get a fiat loan. You will pay fiat interest. And investors also will send you fiat through fiat facilitator.
Right.
We agree that like in the years to come, when crypto becomes more mainstream, when it's possible for businesses to start borrowing in crypto, then of course we can move to like crypto loans. But in the beginning, it's definitely fiat.
Right. So okay, now let's talk about the lenders, right? So now let's say I'm loaded with cryptocurrency. Okay, so I go into the ICO and I get a lot of debt tokens, right? Which is stands for Debitum token. So now what would I receive as an interest? Do I receive in fiat, or do I receive in cryptocurrency, or do I receive in debt tokens?
If you just buy Debitum tokens, you do not receive interest. It's not the Debitum token itself. It's not a loan.
Right.
Debitum tokens are mostly used within the ecosystem to pay service providers.
Right.
What you need to do, or what you can do, you have two options. You can, if you want to be an investor, you can actually either you can send fiat to fiat facilitator and then show it around in ecosystem where to put it, etc. Or you can use your, say, Debitum token and send them to fiat facilitator. But then fiat facilitator will immediately exchange them into fiat because, again, all the loans are happening in fiat.
Right.
We have had actually a lot of discussion about that in a couple of last days.
Right.
That basically what people are saying is that if you just have a crypto, most likely you would expect higher return, right, than on even on small business loans and like alternative this finance way.
Right.
But yeah, sure, and that might be true. So it's up to you to decide. You can we expect investors, and we already have discussions on this ecosystem, to be large investment funds that are actually looking for small businesses to invest in, but they have trouble finding those deals because it's like so fragmented.
Right.
Crypto guys like you, for example, you will be able to do it, but most likely it will be a small part of your portfolio, right? Because your crypto investments most likely will get a better return.
Right. So that being said, if let's say, so the debt tokens will then be used to pay online the services, right? So what kind of services are available, like for that services wise?
Yeah, it means it's a verification of assets, or verification of the loan information, risk assessment of the loan, insurance of the loan, if the debt collection of the loan. Because again, if a company gets like a loan and in real life they say go bankrupt, blockchain or smart contracts will not do anything, right? You actually need someone who actually gets back as much money as possible through non-crypto operations, like going to court, liquidating assets and stuff like that. So these are the services you kind of can buy.
Got it. So this question, how to hedge? So that means to say, if let's say you have some cryptocurrencies, are you going to convert straight to fiat so that you'll be holding more in fiat, or will you be holding more in cryptocurrencies? Are you going to do some hedging strategy? Are you going to do anything special? Yeah.
If you mean about lending part, then yeah, it will be more like straight away going to fiat.
Okay.
If not, then yeah, some hedging in. But anyway, for investors, everything will be accounted for fiat. So either we need to exchange, either we need to make sure that we hedge it not to lose that money.
Right. Okay. So this is just a side question. So do you think there'll be a target price for each debt token to hit in, say, the next 2 to 3 years? What do you think?
Very tricky question, you know.
Yeah.
I see, like when I look at some other like peer-to-peer lendings, I haven't seen really many business-to-business and like business lending platforms. But just like other lending platforms, I see that their prices are increasing. I have seen some platforms increasing like 20-50%. I have seen some platforms increasing 3 to 5 times price. So we kind of expect that we have created the token economy to put an upward pressure on the price of our tokens. We can't exactly tell how much would it like come to, but we expect that it should raise with the growth of the system, with the growth of the ecosystem, it should also raise.
Right. Okay. So we are down to the last 2 questions. I think these are quite important. So in your white paper, I read through the whole 80 plus pages.
Wow.
So good. Yeah, good. Huh? Okay. Anyway,
it's very good.
So there's this portion that says that Debitum has a challenge, which is how is Debitum going to raise the awareness to the companies, right? Example in Lithuania on the capability of how Debitum is able to lend out. So what strategies are you going to adopt for that?
Yeah, it's actually it's a good one. Basically, because we have this experience already, we don't really believe that you just can make a solution or ecosystem and it will just hit off and everyone will just use it, right?
Right.
It's not happening like that. And we had the same problem when we started with our lending company. So basically what you have to do and what we are planning to do, you have to launch that ecosystem in each particular like country or like region. And you have to go there. You need to find partners. You need to make like educational. You basically need to make some marketing and advertisement specific for like business and for partners needed to be involved. And that's exactly how we are planning to do it. We have a quite complicated, quite detailed plan how we want to go with what countries we go, like at what times and how we do it. And the idea is to set up small like country representatives that will go and like do that partnerships, do that marketing and etc. But we also like how we have constructed the ecosystem. It will be community based, so everyone will like get together in communities, and communities will be motivated to like look after those communities. So why is that important? Is that when we get enough of those players in, we feel that we don't need to make that kind of centralized marketing or anything, because those communities will keep growing themselves or will keep sustaining themselves.
Right.
So basically, that's kind of how we imagine it. Go in the country, launch it, market, partnerships, and then make sure it gets like some level of like traction. And then we basically get out of there, and the ecosystem keeps on organically growing.
Great. That sounds like a great plan. Yeah. Okay. So because it's a challenge that I think a lot of companies have, because you have a great idea, but in terms of expansion, I think that's the toughest. And whether or not crypto will go into mainstream, I think that's another question, right? I mean, if no one knows about it, then what's going to happen? But of course, it's getting, the crypto fever is coming, so I think it's all good. Yeah. Okay. So this part is all about risk. So how do you ensure that interest of third-party assessor, say the risk, insurance, debt collector, is in line with Debitum Network, right? So what prevents them from being a bad actor, and what happens if, let's say, they do, right? What if they default, or they misappropriate risk assessments? What do you think? What do you think about that, Mārtiņ?
Okay, yeah, it's actually very important. It's an important thing. So this is what I try to say. It's we are putting them together. We have a trust rating, and we have a trust smart contract. It's on two levels.
Right.
One is on individual level, like individual risk assessor or individual debt collector, and another is on the community that service provider is part of, right?
Right.
So then what can happen is that if there are some company made some bad decision or something, first of all, community leader can like do some governance. Basically, they can like freeze some tokens, for example, take some frozen tokens as a compensation, pay out to the party. Like they can actually even like switch them off, basically like not allow them to be part of it. And the same can then be done on the next level, like with the whole community. And I think again, it's very important to think about it, right? Because you have to have mechanism in place to ensure that can be done, because otherwise you are just like hoping everyone is good and trustworthy. So we have these trust ratings, so they are automatically updated after each deal. So in as time goes on, you actually can see trust of each party, and if there are like non-blockchain basically complaints or something like that, then there is two levels of how to deal with that.
All right. Okay, that's cool. So this is like a system in place, to kind of kick out the Okay, great.
Exactly, because otherwise you just like you can hope everything will be okay, but in reality, unfortunately, it's not always like that.
No, in business we cannot do that, right? So
exactly, you need to have some governance,
some measures. Yeah, exactly. All right. So what is the current interest or loan in the pipeline, that the debt network is going to be using? So what interest will the lenders be receiving in that sense? Yeah.
I think like it will depend. It will basically depend on the like loan that you are willing to take, like also what is collateral. Experience is that it's approximately it's basically from 10 to 20 maybe interest rate per year. It's not. It's quite large if you compare it with other fiat lending, other fiat investment. But it's of course not like very large if you compare it with crypto investment.
Right.
But I think that's a very good, actually very good investment also, both for fiat, because it's like fiat lenders, it's quite lucrative, but for crypto lenders, it's lower, but it's way less riskier.
Yeah,
so it's,
so it's much like a diversification, you know, like a fund that you could put it at a side such that it still earns you that kind of minimum kind of interest, right? That's what you're trying to say. Got it. All right. So Mārtiņ, last question for the night, all right, or for the day. So what's next for Debitum Network? What's next?
Okay. So we are doing this round day on December 7. If I hope it goes well. If it goes well, then basically we start working on the project itself starting from January.
Right.
And, we start already from January, and we try to we already start developing further the ecosystem itself, the technologies, the solution. We continue talking with partners. We already have a couple of partners from our local European region. We have announced some, we haven't announced some more.
Right.
So we work already with that. And I hope we can get it running in like 6 to 9 months to at least start running in at least one or a couple of countries, right?
Right.
So
all right. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mārtiņ, for coming on, and thank you for introducing Debitum Network to all of us and our subscribers. So to everyone on Crypto Grinders, this is a sponsored feature from Debitum Network. So please take note if you would like to participate in the ICO. If you have any questions, do head to the website of Debitum Network, and we will be putting up more information in the future. All right. All right. Thank you, Mārtiņ. Have a great Saturday evening, and thank you. I'll be visiting Lithuania soon. Yeah.
Okay. When you visit, give me a call. I love to show around.
Sure. I'll see you there. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Mārtiņ.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.